Hey, football fans, welcome back to another episode of Lions Latest, the show where we gather around and talk about the greatest team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. I'm your host, Bryan Hanes, and we have some good topics to go over before the end of the week here. So let's just jump straight into the video. Starting off, we are just talking about John Morton. What has he been doing so far? We kind of had our topic on Kelvin Shepard, but how are things working out for John Morton back in Detroit? Well, he has had a very strong start with the Lions as the offensive coordinator so far, following a admittedly tough week 1 performance. It was just lost on not orchestrating correctly, not having right synergy going on the offensive line. And we then were able to get a very explosive performance going in weeks 2 and 3, which included setting a team record with 90 points in 2 games in a go ahead trick play in their week 3 win. His play calling has been praised for its creativity and effectiveness, particularly on third downs, which I think is something so far I've seen that we have been better at than last year. And there haven't been a ton of things I've looked at that I'm like, oh wow, we look better than last year here, just because last year was such a crazy performance. But this is one of those where I'm like, yeah, no, I can see that we've improved here. And it has been third down conversions. He's quickly proven to be capable of being a replacement for Ben Johnson. And I know it's still early. It's like, oh, a couple wins. Yeah, let's go. We got to continue it, obviously. We got to show that we can do it every week, but so far it is looking good. And we're getting the offense to keep moving the way we wanted it to from last year, and it's starting to look very similar in terms of success and how we're operating. Jared Goff specifically noted Morton's excellent command of third downs, a crucial aspect of his early success here in Detroit. Their offense's ability to convert key plays. The Lions are now the second highest scoring team in the NFL, and Morton is looking to keep the offense where it's at, if not even better going forward. Morton entered the 2025 season, of course, under the scrutiny, kind of this big doubt from the crowd of will he be enough to replace how great Ben Johnson was. And there were expectations of this offense that were so high, and there were even bigger expectations that the whole team was gonna have to kind of decline because of Ben Johnson leaving and because of Aaron Glenn leaving as well. A lot of people saw this as a drop year for the Lions, and I don't think that's crazy to say. I think that's kind of been the consensus on a lot of media, has been that the Lions are going to have a drop year. And I know fans, especially me, have been drinking the Kool-Aid and didn't really see it going away as much. But this has been just a great turnout. I had a feeling that with our squad and, though we lost Ben Johnson, we were still getting a veteran play caller. I thought we would just be fine. A lack of fancy trick plays doesn't mean that the team is worse than before. Improving on third down has been a huge plus for us. He's even been, and he's been excited to be here. That's the big thing. He's not just here to take the job. Like, he's excited to work with some of the guys that we have on our squad. JMO, Laporta, Gibbs. These are been guys he's specifically noted because of their unique packages that come with these kind of players. So far, we've seen a little bit of the dual back set. It's been really cool to see what he can do back there with the type of play calling you can have with two backs. And I think we've seen a lot of more action out of Laporta as well so far, just kind of getting him involved with the blocking schemes and stuff like that. So far, we have 447 rushing yards, 761 passing yards, and we're averaging 5 yards a rush and 10.3 yards a reception. By those stats, it basically means we're moving the ball to a first down nearly every single time. And that's not a bad stat to have. So, yeah, I think John Morton's doing fine. I think we have kind of gone back to more, I don't know, less insane plays, which is totally fine. If we're sticking to the fundamentals here and we are just working on getting third down conversions to a science, then who's going to stop us on drives, right? I mean, if we can go down and score 99% of the time, we can win games. Like, if we're scoring a whole bunch and then our defense, who we've seen can make some stops, makes just a few key stops, we're going to be just fine. And I think John Morton has really figured out who he likes the most in this offense in terms of moving the ball down the field and getting the ball into his, special players' hands. So I think I like what I see from him so far. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, though. Anything specific, anything completely different that you see from Ben Johnson, let me know. We're going to move quickly to our second topic. I saw this, and I'm not sure. I'm going to talk about it real quick. So, after being released from the Texans, there is word that Detroit could be potentially signing ex safety CJ Gardner Johnson. Theoretically, the Lions do have space for an extra safety, and Gardner Johnson would fit the backup position just fine. The thing is that he doesn't really want to be a backup, and we know that because when he came back from his torn pectoral in 2023, he talked to the media about how he didn't sign with us to be part of the rotation, that he wanted to start, and when he left, he accused the Lions of lying to him and being brought back and said it was hell in Detroit. So really just throwing a lot of shade at the Lions. For that reason, I say heck no, dude. I think he's a fine safety. I think he performs well, but that's just the kind of attitude we don't want in Detroit right now. That's the kind of culture we're trying to avoid, is having attitude like that. And we've seen in the past what kind of baggage having CJ Gardner Johnson on the team brings, right? Buddy also talked a ton of smack in that NFC Championship game, and then was non-existent in the second half against the 49ers. So I don't like it. I don't like what he said about Detroit. I don't like the kind of energy that comes off of him in the locker room. I don't like it. Now, if I play devil's advocate here, I can say, on the other hand, having some depth back there wouldn't hurt. Since he is coming off of being released, there's a good chance any team could be able to get him in a rotational spot. But we also, and not but, we also saw how worried fans got. This prior week, seeing Kirby Joseph unquestionable, everyone's like, oh crap, like who's going to be back there, especially for the Ravens, right? That was super scary because we don't have a ton of great depth at safety right now. So having him back there could be huge for us. That's just the other hand of things, right? When he played with us, he had 17 combined tackles and an interception. The year he played with the Eagles last season, he had 59 combined tackles, 6 interceptions, and one of those being a touchdown. So, yes, when he starts, he shows up and he makes plays. He can be a very good player and a play changer, a game changer for you on defense. But right now, we are just good at that starting safety role. Like, I don't think it's worth to go out and grab some guy who has potential downside, especially with his history in Detroit, when we don't necessarily need another starter right now. We just need guys to fill the backfield, and I seriously, or in the back part of the roster, and I seriously doubt that he is going to be one of those guys who wants to go and do that right now, especially after how we kind of ended things. So I'm not sure about this one. I think it's a possibility, but it's one of those very slim possibilities that we're probably only going to go to if both of our starters just get injured for the whole season. But I don't really see this one happening. Let me know what you guys think, and would this even be worth considering with the past we have with CJ Gardner Johnson, or is this just move on, next topic? Let me know what you guys think. Third, we have NFL Power Rankings. They do this like every week, see where people move. And I was kind of curious about where they thought we were at. I hadn't seen it last week, but this is where they got us. The Lions did finally prove doubters wrong against the Ravens on Monday night, beating the reigning AFC North champions by a score of 38-30. Entering Monday night, the Lions had just one win in 7 meetings against the Ravens, and they had never won a game in Baltimore. Detroit's offense was firing on all cylinders, and the defense sacked Lamar Jackson 7 times, as we know, an insane stat, joining the 2021 Pittsburgh Steelers as the only teams who have ever accomplished that difficult feat, right? ESPN has now ranked the Lions, because of this game, third in the NFL, moving up 2 spaces from 5th place from last week. We are only behind now the Bills in second and the Eagles in first, which I see as fair. That's a fine ranking. The list also says rather, that our biggest weakness right now is pass rush outside of Aiden Hutchinson, which after seeing the Ravens game, I'm not really so sure about, right? I guess you could say it is still one of our weaknesses, but I wouldn't say it's one of those like pressing ones I had before I saw what Al-Qadim Muhammad could do, right? The Lions are tied for the league low of 22% pass rush win rate, but 7 sacks on Lamar is crazy. So it's a horrible stat, and it definitely makes us look bad. But then we have that game, and it's like, what do you say about a guy who can always escape the pressure, right? We may have found our fit on that other side if he can follow it up against Sunday. We're just going to have to see what kind of player Al-Qadim Muhammad is going to continue to be as the season goes. And if he can continually get 1 sack, 2 sacks a game, then we may have found our other pressure guys. Some other guy teams are going to have to worry about with one-on-ones. And then maybe if the double team goes his way, Hutch can eat on that other side, let our middle guys come up, once, especially once Lee McNeil comes back. I'm just saying there's a lot of potential here, and I'm really excited to see where this goes. The rest of the power rankings are pretty, I think, set on. They got the Chargers at 4. The Chargers have been fantastic. Justin Herbert, third best quarterback in football right now. They're absolutely going crazy. They moved up there from being ranked 7 last week. The Packers fall to 5 after being where we were at 3. I think this one's a good flop, especially because you're going to lose to the Browns in that kind of fashion. It looked like they just weren't really clicking all that well that game. 5 is still very, very generous for them. Tampa Bay Buccaneers come up from 10th to 6th. The Ravens fall from 4 to 7, which is really tough. But I mean, if you're going to get sacked 7 times a game, that's saying something. And their biggest issue, they even said, was poor tackling. So we were having a game that year on Monday. 8, they have the Los Angeles Rams, who fell from 6 to 8. Sure, throw the Rams in there. Puka's been eaten. Kyron Williams has been good, and Matthew Stafford's still been showing it. Unk still got it. So that's a fine ranking for them. And then the Kansas City Chiefs at 9, still having them top 10. Man, they love to give this love to the Chiefs. I think beating up on the Giants, don't know who their quarterback is I don't know about that. They fell from 8th last week, even after beating the Chiefs. I think their big thing has just been surrounding Chris Jones. He hasn't been fantastic, and the offense just there's not a whole lot for Mahomes right now, with one of his guys being suspended, the other being injured, even though he's supposed to make a comeback this week. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens with the Chiefs. And finally, at number 10, they have the Washington Commanders, who fell from 9th to 10th. I think we're just going to have to wait till Jaden Daniels comes back. I am still kind of expecting a sophomore slump from Daniels, but he hasn't really shown that it's going to happen so far, so we're just going to have to wait and see. I think 10 is very comfortable for that team, who does have a lot of upside for the rest of the season. Let me know what you guys think about this list. What do you think about the Lions being 3rd? I think it's kind of perfect for us right now. We're still we just proved people wrong, so now it's showing we are a top 3 team, but we still have a lot to prove before we can be ahead of the Bills with Josh Allen, who did beat us last year, and the Eagles, who we really haven't gotten that rematch yet that we've wanted for a long time. Now that we're both superpowered teams, we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. With that being said, let's move to our last topic. Just a couple of comments from you guys. You guys left me a ton of great comments on the last video. I just wanted to say thank you so much. I had a lot to read through, and you guys had a lot of good notes for me, and I just appreciate everything you guys said. Starting with Stephen Williams. Williams says, it's amazing to think that Detroit fans are too critical of Terrion Arnold. Terrion has just been picked out by opposing teams because he covers closely. The referee always seems to have their eyes on him during the game. During the game against Baltimore, both players were were hand fighting down the field, and while the ball was in the air, the receiver pressed his hand pressed his hand in a push off Arnold's face mask. They should have had been a no call. Okay, I see what you're saying. It's like you see these couple of specific plays and you're like, dude, he's not really that bad. Like, come on. And I hear you. And I don't think he is that bad. And I think he is going to develop and it's going to be great. But you see where some of the other rookies are right now, playing positions like that, like Malik Starks, didn't have a great game against the Lions, but he's been good. I think there are just other secondary players that have been developing quicker than him. And so then it makes me, as a Lions fan, just kind of like, oh, come on, Terrion, just become this great player I know you can become. To be fair, he does get really handsy, though. And it's like to say the ref always has his eyes on him. Good. The ref should always have his eyes on the corners, both sides of the ball, because I don't want them to miss anything on me either. I just want him to be a little less handsy and be this great player I know he's going to become sooner than later. But I do see what you're saying. Thank you so much for your comment. Moving on to Lincoln Ward 85. Lincoln Ward says, play action is a trick play. It's just so commonplace that most people don't think about it. But it's intentional misdirection to get the defense out of position. You make a good point here. And I guess I didn't really consider that in my last video, but you're absolutely right. Technically, play action is a trick play. And I guess I was thinking trick plays aren't gone. Of course, they're not gone if you're going to consider this by definition a trick play. I just meant more like the crazy flea flicker stuff, the end around stuff, the crazy pass to the quarterback junk. We're just not going to probably see as much more. But after the Ravens, we did see a couple, so who knows? Maybe we will continue seeing insane stuff. But like you said, I guess if play action is going to be considered trick play, then we are one of the best at trick plays in the entire league, if not the best. With that being said, though, I think we are out of time today. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Lions Latest. If you made it to this point of the video, please tell me what you guys think about the power ranking list, CJ Gardner Johnson, and what your opinions on John Morton have been so far. This is also the last video before the weekend, so let me know what you guys are thinking about the Browns matchup and what you are looking forward to most. Also, just a quick thank you guys. Overnight, we got way past 500 subscribers. Like, not just one, we got a whole bunch. So, thank you everyone who has joined the Lions Latest fam. It is so great to have 500 plus of you here now. Every day, you guys make it so much worth it to put these videos out. I love doing it, and I love that you guys enjoyed as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Go Lions, and enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you in the next one.